What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to GNR. My name is Francisco. Today, I want to do a bit of a follow-up video to a video I did, I want to say a little over a year ago, where I compared and reviewed the Wave 3 Elgato microphone to the Shure MV7. Except today, we're going to follow up on the microphones and see how they stand the test of time, but we're going to compare the Wave 3 from Elgato to the Shure MV7X from Shure microphones. Duh. The main difference between the MV7 and the MV7X is that the MV7, of course, is a hybrid XLR and USB microphone, whereas the MV7X is XLR only at a pretty nice price cut as a result. So let's take a look at the mics. I want us to think about this as a direct microphone comparison because they're within $30 of each other. The MV7X being $179, the Wave 3 Elgato being $149. And I also want you to think of this as a comparison between a condenser microphone, the Wave 3, and a dynamic microphone, the MV7X. Without further ado, let's go. All right, ladies and gents, so here we have the Elgato Wave 3 microphone. This is a USB condenser microphone. Could run you anywhere from about $129 to about $149, depending on where you buy it and when you buy it, if you can catch it on sale. The microphone has an all-plastic build, and don't let that fool you. It's not going to be very easily broken unless you are completely negligent with your belongings. And I hope that if you're spending this amount of money on anything, that you're going to take care of it to some degree, right? It has a very sleek look. It's very professional looking. I went ahead and bought the separately sold shock mount and pop filter for it. And when you put everything together, it looks really good. It's a nice professional looking mic. When I initially reviewed this microphone, I did say that it was better sounding to me, in my opinion, than the MV7 at the time. And at that time, also, Wavelink was still relatively new to the scene, and it had some features that just weren't present that I would have liked to see. Well, it seems like Elgato heard me because at some point in time, they went ahead and added the ability to include VST plugins into the Wavelink software. So with VST plugins, which I recommend the Reaper plugins for anybody out there, I downloaded and installed Reaper plugins to Wavelink, and I'm using Reaper Noise Gate, Reaper Compression, and Reaper EQ. That alone has completely changed this microphone for me. This microphone, I ended up returning it, and I was wrong. I'm sorry. I misled you at the beginning. I told you I sold it, but no, I didn't sell it. I returned it because there were some software issues with the microphone, some hardware issues with the microphone. It ended up sounding horrible, and it was irreparable at the time, and I returned it and got rid of it. Once I heard that you could use VST plugins, I got a little curious. I rebought the microphone, and it has been months since that happened, and I cannot get rid of this microphone because the fact alone that I can now use VST plugins and have much more control over the sound that this microphone produces has been incredible. And these are the results. What you're hearing right now is the Wave 3 microphone using VST plugins via Wavelink, and this sounds incredible. Now, my room is relatively small. It's not the most furnished room in the house. I've had to use some Elgato Wave panels to try and reduce the amount of reverb that I get, and I'll still get some here and there because this is a condenser microphone. It is very sensitive, but overall, any time that I've used this microphone since I rebought it again, I have been incredibly happy with it. Now, don't worry. I'm going to give you a little sample towards the end of the video on what these microphones both sound like without post-processing, so you can get a good idea of what they would sound like naturally, but this is what you can get with it with just a little bit of work. Now let's take a look at the Shure MV7X. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Shure MV7X microphone. Once again, the main difference between the MV7X and the MV7 is that the MV7X is an XLR-only output microphone. The MV7 is both XLR and USB, and it also has some nice little sliders at the top to control a couple of things. This is just straight up an XLR dynamic microphone. Dynamic microphones do a far better job of rejecting noise from the sides and from the rear, as opposed to condenser microphones, which they don't do as good of a job because they are much more sensitive microphones, which therefore deliver much more true to source vocal quality, if you will. I repurchased this microphone because I was very curious about the fact that it went XLR only. You see, sometimes I'm of the belief that if you have a whole lot built into one item, like a whole bunch of features crammed into a microphone, a whole bunch of features crammed into a camera, a whole bunch of features crammed into a headset, some sort of quality begins to degrade as a result. So when I heard that they released this microphone with XLR only, I was like, man, let me check that out. Because word on the street is that because it was XLR only, they used a new XLR input, a new capsule, I believe, or something or other, and it sounded better. And it does. And this is what you get. This is the result of this microphone going XLR only. Granted, I am running this microphone through my Go XLR Mini, and I do have some processing involved in it as well because it has it incorporated into Go XLR Mini. We've got noise gate, we've got compression, and we have some EQ running through it as well. This microphone is a metal build. It is a very similar looking microphone to the SM7B, and it's a lot smaller. The one thing I've done to this microphone that is different is that I do not use the provided screen filter, windscreen, whatever you want to call it, and instead I use the one that goes on the SM7B because it is way better at rejecting plosives. The original windscreen is awful. I highly recommend that if you get this microphone, get rid of it immediately and pop one of the SM7B ones on there. You can buy them separately. They're very cheap. You're going to get far better plosive rejection using this windscreen than the other one. This microphone also looks very sleek. It is very professional looking. It has a very small form factor, so it's not going to cover up a whole bunch of your face or your mouth. And I think it looks great on camera and it sounds great in audio. For about $179 is what it goes for now, which I bought it on sale for $150. This is a really good buy. And I'm starting to see this microphone pop up a lot on different content creators, different podcasts, different YouTube channels, different Twitch streams. It's a fairly good microphone. I'm sorry, let me take that back. It's a really good microphone to get for the price point. I think once you cross the $200 mark, you're not going to get that much better quality out of the microphone alone. At that point, other things come into play, other pieces of equipment come into play, your environment that you're recording in always comes into play. But at about the $180 mark, I think this is a phenomenal buy for a microphone. But the real question we want to answer is which one of these two microphones is better. So let's get into some direct sound comparisons. Post-processed first, raw second. All right, so this is the Elgato Wave 3 microphone with the post-processing turned on. We've got the Reaper plugins going through the Wavelink software. We're going to go ahead and read one of my favorite Dr. Seuss quotes. Let's go. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the one who'll decide where to go. All right, ladies and gents, and this is the MV7X with post-processing turned on. Same quote, same thing. You know the drill. Let's go. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. And now the Elgato Wave 3 microphone, same exact quote, post-processing and everything else turned off. This is what the microphone would sound like plugged in right into your computer with no effects, nothing at all. Plug and play. Let's go. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the MV7X microphone with no post-processing at all. This is the microphone raw. Same quote, same drill, you know the deal. Let's go. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. In conclusion, the Wave 3 microphone has a lot of features, of course, because it is a USB microphone. It's heavily reliant on the software Wavelink that the MV7X just doesn't have because it's just an XLR microphone. So the MV7X is at the mercy of whatever hardware you're using to run it through. This microphone, raw, because it is a condenser microphone, can pick up a lot of noise, especially if you're not recording in the best of environments. The Shure MV7X raw does a much better job at rejecting noise because it's a dynamic microphone, and I think raw sounded better on the MV7X than it did on the Wave 3. Now, granted, the Wave 3 didn't sound bad. I just personally prefer the way the MV7X sounded raw. But now you throw post-processing into the mix. Now you add in VST plugins, and this is where things get a little dicey. I cannot tell, for the most part, the difference between both microphones when I've used them throughout the last several months with post-processing turned on, right? I think they both sound incredible. I think they both sound great. They both do the job that I need them to do. So where do we draw the line? Where do we determine which one is better and which one should you go with? I'm going to tell you right now, it's the price. This microphone right here, the Wave 3, is $30 cheaper. And for $30 more, all you're going to really get for that is going to be a little bit of extra work in noise rejection, which you can do with post-processing and a better environment to record in. And that $30 difference, you can put that towards another piece of equipment that you need. You can put that towards editing software. You can put that towards a whole bunch of other things. You can make that $30 difference work for you. But if you spend that extra 30 bucks to get the MV7X because it's a Shure microphone, because it's a dynamic microphone and you want better noise rejection, you're not really spending your money wisely, in my opinion. I think that for the difference in cost, this microphone with all its features, its quality, you can't go wrong with it. So once again, the winner is the Elgato Wave 3. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, y'all take care. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Please be good to one another, y'all. It is crazy out there. I'll see y'all later. Take care.